Hey y'all, back with another video, more updates. Stay tuned for that update. I'll talk about that in a separate video, but right now what I'm doing is I'm kind of finishing up the wiring for the gauges. So what you can see over here, I don't know if I showed you all before, but it looks really nice. I'll show you. I think the black fits. I'm just gonna kind of put it in there. Obviously wiring and stuff is in the way, but that's kind of where it sits. And I think it's an awesome location for the factory. It just looks so factory in my opinion. Such an awesome spot. Boost gauge on the left, Scanmaster on the right. The black housing again fits so well with the interior because, like I said, the radio face is black, the dash is black, the headliner is black. So how I'm doing the wiring is pretty straightforward. The boost gauge has 4 wires. We've got red being a ignition switch, ignition source, orange being constant 12 volt, I believe. The constant is for memory to save this color setting. Then you have yellow, sorry, being dim, your dimmer. So when the lights go on, it kind of dims out, and I'm gonna actually attach that to this ignition fuse down over here. On top, it says IG, it's like the 5 right there. It says INST-LPS instrument lamps. I used the multimeter. When the lights turn on, that fuse had power, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that for dimming. I know there's another wire on the radio I could probably use if I wanted to, but that just looks like it's pretty easy. And then our ignition source is gonna be actually right over there. So IGN1. Can you see with the light? There you go, IGN1. There's a few of those spots. And then our battery source, you can see down there, it says BAT. So I use the multimeter on those as well. For our ground, you can see my little ratchet over there. This whole radio housing is a ground. There's a 7mm bolt. You see one over there. There's another one right here I took off. And I'll show you that. Right over here. So, oh, that bolt fell. What I'm doing essentially is I have my terminal right here. That's gonna go onto the bolt. I'm gonna tighten this bolt back in. And I actually have a shared ground for both the boost gauge and the Scanmaster. And you'll see I have this little plastic housing part on the bottom on. This was just on there. Let me see if I can just force it back down. There you go. So when I tighten this down, you can see it's gonna be nice and grounded. And I have another terminal here, a female, in case I ever want to disconnect the gauges and take them off. I don't have to remove this bolt every single time. I could just disconnect that and make my gauges very easy to remove. So I want to keep that option there. And then obviously I could always attach more things on here if I want to ground anything else, add more gauges, whatever. So that's pretty much that. I'm going to try to make all the connections removable easily, so if you do have to pull out the gauges for whatever reason, it won't be difficult. There's no hard wires on there, so that's kind of the goal. The Scanmaster did come with these connectors. You can see 1, 2, 3. As far as the Scanmaster signal, which is this wire right over here, they actually gave you a pin, and it goes onto the E pin on the COM port. So once I have it wired up, that's just going to go right over here. And again, if you ever want to disconnect it, straightforward, you would just pull the wire out, and I'm going to have it obviously nice and tucked. As far as the engine goes, sorry for the light, it's kind of bright, but the intake is officially fully installed. I really like kind of how the cold air works. So boom, just got to tighten that bolt down. Well, this focus is so bad. The intake is actually like right over there. So it really is cold air. Now obviously you don't want to drive through puddles. That would cause issues because it would suck in air, but intake's good. My new 3-inch LT1 MAF is installed. I have it going to the MAF Translator, which I mounted right over here with some double-sided tape. So it's holding up pretty well. I think it's a nice little convenient spot. I didn't want to screw it in. I feel like double-sided tape, it works pretty good. I hid the wires. I tried, taping some of the wires up so it doesn't stick out too much because the MAF Translator doesn't really come with a wire loom. The rest of it I tried hiding in the wire loom, as you can tell. This wire loom is actually for the extension of the IAT sensor. And the IAT sensor is actually pretty cool what I did. I actually drilled into the filter. Let's see if you can see it. Oh yeah, you can see it right up there. So let me try to get I actually drilled into the filter and screwed the IAT into the side of the filter housing. It's really nicely sealed. I just think it looks way better like that than trying to have some adapters come in place. So that's that. All the wiring is good on here. I think it looks really nice, looks really sleek. I do have one more pipe coming, which is this pipe right over here. This is the factory one. I ordered, I think it was like a TTA. It was some kind of brand. It was like 125 bucks shipped. It's kind of stupid paying that much for a pipe, right? But I feel like I came this far. I had the intake. Why wouldn't I just, you know, do the upper intercooler pipe? I don't know if it's wider, if it's a 3-inch pipe, or if it's still 2.5. But nonetheless, it's like a polished pipe, so it's gonna look really nice, kind of complete the look under the hood. This is primered. I'm gonna finish painting it. I did a lot of cleaning on the turbo and stuff. That's gonna be, excuse the mess. We have the pink fell. Derek told me this was pretty much the factory color, this Rust-Oleum aluminum, or close enough to it. So that's what I'm gonna end up painting it. But I wasn't gonna do it, but I mean, just with the primer alone, it looks so much better, right? So I do think painting it was a move. And yeah, aside from that, radiator is obviously in. Subtle but nice, right? You don't have to worry about any leaks anytime soon. All the silicone hoses are in, all new pipes, all new clamps to go with the silicone hoses, upper, lower, heater hoses right over there. PCV hose is also new. It's that silicone came with the kit. It's supposed to come with power steering hoses as well. When I ordered the kit off of G Auto, G Body Parts or whatever, it's supposed to come with the power steering hoses. It didn't, so that was kind of weird. But I'm just gonna leave it alone again. I don't want to mess with it if I don't have any hoses. So I'll leave that alone. Valve covers are in, looking great. Gotta polish that one up. The other side I did like a little quick polish, so it looks a lot better. I know my hands are gonna get all dirty, so I'll do a final polish once everything else is in. And yeah, engine's coming along good. Underneath is coming along good. Just gotta finish up though. Yeah, let me see this. I love this new fuel pressure regulator. I think it looks so nice. So subtle but so nice. And that's kind of what I was going with the whole engine bay, guys. Again, I was gonna restore this car to original, but I figured, hey, let's just do nice subtle mods that aren't too much. I feel like this car still is very original. Like I said, if you really think about it, the only mods I did was a colder intake, right? Upper charge pipe, if you want to call that a mod. Now I just replaced all the factory crappy parts with better parts. You know, all the factory OEM couplers. I think there's some are, I'm sure you can see in the other video how crappy those factory couplers were, right? All oil soaked. So you've got nice silicone couplers with T-bolt clamps, so you don't have to worry about anything popping off. Right, and all along there, brand new MAF, that's not gonna go bad. These are really reliable MAFs with the translator. New valve covers with really good gaskets, so you know, if in the future someone wants to modify it, they could put roller rockers if they want to. If not, they don't have to worry about leaks, right? This is all welded from the bottom, at least on the other side, where the oil usually goes in, right? This is me spinning a little oil when I add the oil to the car. You don't have to worry about leaks over there, right? It's a nice breather. You don't have to worry about oil going into your turbo anymore because you don't have to have that weird breather thing anymore. It's blocked off at the turbo side. You can see right over there. You have nice chrome breathers. So your engine's breathing nice. Again, subtle but nice, right? They're just powder coated black wrinkle powder coat with like the Turbo 6 emblem, the Buick writing. I think it looks so subtle and nice. Same thing with the fuel pressure regulator, you know, and the Jegs fuel pressure gauge. Subtle but nice. It's not wild colors coming at you, but it's better than stock, but not too much like over the top performance. So you have that reliability still. This is your hot wire kit, by the way. So you can tell it goes right off the alternator. They give you a nice mounting bolt for the fuse. So we had that attached to the alternator. Very slick looking, looks pretty much OEM. Again, Racetronix did a wonderful job with that. And you can see from the top, I didn't show in the other video, but I just have it pretty much going right down. Boom, I might just add a zip tie right over here somewhere. I'm calling it a day with the stock power boost, hydro boost, whatever you want to call this factory part. I always forget. It's actually supposed to be like this, high, low. And I believe this was replaced once upon a time. It also has the Derek was telling me, I believe this was completed, what, I can't see the date clearly, 8/28/90. There you go, 8/28/90. So either this was the emissions, I think they installed a new chip for emissions. It was either that or that. I forgot which one was for emissions, and I think the other one was for the Power Master thingy majiggy. So if I'm not mistaken, this is 996. Nonetheless, we have the new chip in there. We have the turbo tweak chip in here now. So yeah, guys, this car is coming along great. We finished up the wiring. Oh, AC. The AC, I've got to check the charge and recharge it. It was already converted to 134 at one point in its life. You can see the conversion kit's already on here, which makes my life easier. I just want to pull vacuum. Hopefully the AC is fine. It should be. I don't see why it wouldn't be. It is hooked up. New belts. I forgot to mention I also got a new belt on there. I think it was just like a Duralast belt. By the way, guys, fun fact, the belt or the factory belt at the parts store is going to come up as a 40, which means 40 inches, whatever circumference. That is incorrect. If you do that, that tensioner is going to smack against, I believe, the water pump because it extends out too much. It's going to sound like you had rod knock. Shout out to Derek, he's the one who told me about this. The correct part is a 35. So having them pull up the belt diagram at the store, it's going to say whatever, right? Like ATK 40. You're gonna tell them, hey, no, I want the ATK 35. This is a 35 belt on here. You can tell on the window, where's the tensioner window? Right over there. Kind of see it, but it's at a perfect spot. It's a little above, it's right in between where it's supposed to be on the window. If you want to go a little tighter, I think you can get a 32 belt if you wanted to mess with it a little more, but 35 is what you want. So that's that. Oh yeah, boost controller. I forgot to talk about the boost. Oh, sorry, not boost controller, boost gauge. The boost gauge, what I actually did was I tapped into the HVAC line. So you can see that it usually goes over here. I added the rubber hose that came with the GlowShift gauge, cut it. I added the T that came with the GlowShift gauge. So under the T, it has a restrictor on the top nipple. So right over there, the top nipple has a restrictor. So that's the one that's going to the boost gauge. You can see that's the factory connector for the HVAC. The T that it comes with is nice because it has two sizes, right? So you got for the larger nipples on the bottom, thinner nipples on top. I had to actually cut this side because the HVAC thing wasn't long enough. This little connector right here wasn't long enough, so I cut this small nipple aspect of it at the edge. This is the closest thing I could come show you as an example. So essentially how it looks is it's like the same length, but the first part is that thick and the second part would be like thinner. It's still a barb, like a thinner barb, so if you have like a smaller hose, it will still connect to it. And if you want to go larger, you can obviously push it all the way through. I had to cut the smaller portion off to fit the factory side because the factory little connection is thin. But it went right over. The barb fitting went well. It was actually a tight fit. It actually wasn't a tight fit on the factory barb fitting. Like over here is very loose. I have to put like a clamp or a zip tie. But the way I have it now set up is actually a very tight fit. Like this is not gonna come off. Really nice. I'm still gonna put a zip tie in it just because we don't want it to come off on boost obviously and cause a vacuum leak. But yeah, that's how that goes. So it's pretty straightforward. And then the line, you would just run inside. The hose that they gave me with the kit was pretty much the exact size I needed. My car already had a hole in the firewall from the factory alarm system that it had. That's how I ran the boost gauge hose. So yeah, if you want to run your own boost gauge, very straightforward. That's the line I would use. And again, you can't even tell I did anything. It's all the way tucked in the back, very clean. You got it primered, wet sanded, and now it's ready for some paint. Boom. Sorry, this video was more talking than it was action. We're in the last steps. I have one more video coming out talking about the fuel pump, the issues I had with the Racetronix fuel pump address, and then the car is pretty much ready to start. So stay tuned, all. 1 or 2 more videos, this car will be started, and we will go over overview, driving. I do want to hit the dyno with it to see what it dynos with the new chip, and also we're gonna do some draggy pulls to see what it does in the quarter mile, some 0 to 60 times, and just fun things like that to have some more data on the car with, you know, very limited mods and a turbo tweak chip. So thank you all for watching. Stay tuned. See y'all soon.